Hello, beautiful souls. Lori Rising here. Happy All Planets Direct. It's happening. Also, happy Lunar New Year, Year of the Water Rabbit, and happy Almost in Bulk, the official beginning of spring. Yes, there's so much to talk about. But first of all, if you're new here, welcome to this page in my channel. Like I said, I'm Lori Rising. I am an intuitive medium, a trauma-informed healer of lifetimes, an embodiment and ritual guide, and our biggest cheerleader into our majesty, our divinity, and our birthright of living in this experience through ease and thriving energy. Yeah, it's coming and we are doing the work. There's much to talk about with All Planets Direct because there will be so much forward momentum, but it's not the momentum that we think of in our hustle and grind culture. And that can be the default that we play into when we're like, okay, it's go time, spring's happening. Now is the time to create and move and right. Like there can almost also feel like there's a pressure when we know the astrology. It helps because we can time things out like launches and when to take action and when more to be available for the incoming messages that create inspired action. That's the juice. That's what I want to get to here today in these messages, because if we stay in this almost resistance that we may have been feeling through the retrograde season, and we could transfer it into a resistance of like, okay, now I need to take action. I need to do something. I need to make something happen. This is where I want to remind you that when we were in the retrograde season, that was when you were actually doing the work, right? By being quiet, by receiving, by opening up to the triggers, the wounds, the traumas that are ready to surface. They're ready for transformation and transmutation into the full light strength of who you are and the lessons and the learnings that are coming from those opportunities. And now when we get the forward momentum, which happened yesterday on January 22nd, Uranus was the final planet to station direct. Then we do have a forward moving energy, and that forward moving energy is really about almost this ease in our inspired action. So in between the retrograde period, it's like the transition is what we're in right now. And what's been happening in this transition is a shit ton of solar flares. Y'all, the solar activity is going off. If you don't have the Space Weather app, grab it so you can track how this is happening and really the best peak times to be moving your body and opening your cells for integration of the light that supercharges our systems. We need light. It illuminates us. It's our fuel to this earth, right? We don't just need food and water. We need air, we need light, we need movement. That's how like, I always think about how were these bodies made to be charged, right? Because if we're not charging them, the batteries are going to feel really low. And it's going to be hard to move through any of the energies that are coming in to support us and guide us. So it's really right now, we're integrating those light codes. And that's why I like to look at Imbolc, which is the pagan or the traditional Celtic first day of spring, February 1st, that's coming up here. And that's where maybe we're going to feel more of that open-ended energy of like just producing from what feels fully aligned in us, which is very different than finding something to produce, right? Because the work that we do in the shadow times and the excavation periods opens our cells up for more of the messages and the downloads that we were here to connect with and co-create with the universal source energy, with God, with spirit, with however you feel into that higher power and connection of where we came from, right? Like that is within ourselves. Infinite intelligence is within us. We don't have to go learn it around us, right? So that's really this huge journey and unfolding with astrology, with the planets, with the cosmic tides, and with nature is really like it's this grand opening of how we do get to live here in ease and thrive. We just, right now, y'all, we have a lot of density that we're working through. And I'll just say it's going to probably be this way for a good few more years, but it's lifting. Every time we move through these major events, these major shadow periods, it lifts more. We're starting to tip the scales, and we're living more from the light within ourselves than the density that we had inherited in these bodies and experienced in this culture and in the narrative around us. Really, that creates so much of the mindsets and belief systems and traumas, physical and emotional and mental traumas that we experience in this collective, right? So I just want you to hold that energy and hold that space, that this isn't a time that we actually have to make something happen. This is the time that we flow into the inspired action that comes from us, right? So if we look at the ebb and flow of life, we're coming out of the ebb and we're moving into the flow. So I really wanted to come on today to highlight that with all planets direct. We also have Jupiter in Aries, which is a very expansive energy because Jupiter's all about expansion and like higher consciousness and getting the higher vantage point and creating more of whatever it is, whatever energy is happening. So if we allow ourselves to soften in and trust that whatever action we're meant to take is going to reveal itself through the space that we've created in ourselves, that our minds don't have to do the job and the work of that anymore, that we just listen, and then we physically take that aligned action with what comes through. It comes through in those deep, beautiful hits that it feels so right and so aligned in your system. Right? So just know that we're still slowly moving out, right? We can really honor the transitions. We can really just let ourselves be still in the void and the unknown, but trust and like garnering more momentum day by day. And then we can do our practices that really help us to ease the transition when our minds want something to happen much quicker than divine time has in its own reality. Right? We always have that. We've been programmed with that immediate gratification. And so then we can also move into the next program of like, if something doesn't change when it's supposed to, I'm quoting supposed to change, then something must be wrong. And then we go into that state of resistance and fear or panic, right? And then that can create more of that disconnect that we might be feeling as these energies are really transitioning and starting up and moving ahead. So the Lunar New Year, it's the year of the water rabbit. The last time that it was the year of the water rabbit was 1963. And this is all about letting go. And I am calling that liberating. This is continuing the year of liberating yourself from anything that's toxic. And I'll say low frequency instead of toxic, because I feel like toxic is a supercharged word. So anything that's low frequency that drags on your energy and system, you know so deeply when it comes through now. You have that truth meter, you have that heart gauge that you're really beginning to navigate from in your experience. You're following the feeling. how does it feel to your heart? Any energy, interaction, or experience through your day. And so you're garnering more of that strength in who you are and what you're here for and what you're available for, right? And that can include being available for extreme forgiveness, but also not in a dysregulated nervous system, right? We've got to get our nervous system regulated, and then we can come at these imbalanced frequencies or energies from a whole different place, from a place of strength, centeredness, and alignment and clarity. So we're liberating ourselves, continuing to liberate ourselves from low frequency relationships, allegiances, and even consumption, right? It's really, we're becoming so much more holistic. And I love feeling this tidal wave happening. And it's a tidal wave. It's not just like a sudden burst, right? We are going to keep getting more of these sudden bursts of like ahas, enlightenment from the Uranus energy, as Uranus stationed direct in Taurus yesterday. But just let yourself notice when your soul really wants to be freed from something, and you might be keeping yourself in it based on sacrificial living, based on supposed to, based on how it has been in the past, or how you were told it's supposed to be. Take yourself back to that inner child and what he, she, or they felt during those times, and where that may have gotten imprinted, those places of sacrificing who we are to create comfort for those around us. And then Imbolc coming up February 1st. So if that resonates with you, it deeply resonates with me. This is just we're still churning. We're still, almost moving through, or I keep getting the energy of grappling with, but I want to shift that to moving through, transitioning what we went through in that deep Mars retrograde for the past almost 3 months. Like, so much came up in that, so much. I mean, that's Mars. Mars is the planet of anger, of action, of momentum, right? And so when that gets halted, we get a lot that wants to be seen. And you may still be really working through that. You might still feel it deeply in your body and your cells. I know I went quite deep into that Mars triggering, I want to say. And I'm still looking at that, right? This is an unfolding journey. Remember that. We're not doing it right or wrong, but when we stay available and curious and just fully open to the truth of our souls, then we get to work with the energies. It's not going to pass us by. They're going to stay with us until they're worked out, when you have that intention, when you really desire the transformation and the change. It will come. You don't have to force it. You don't have to find it. But when you work with the fluctuations of the energies, of the seasons, of nature, of ourselves, of the moon, all of it, then you can trust that it's going to be unfolding divinely. It's going to be unfolding powerfully. And as you physically are ready, even mentally are ready, or energetically are ready. So I just want to real quick do a little exercise, and then I'm going to pull some cards for us in this energy. And we're just going to do a little tapping, and we're going to tap on the thymus, right above the sternum where you feel this ridge. That's your thymus. So just go ahead and get comfortable, get relaxed, take in a nice deep breath. You can use all 4 fingertips, tapping on that thymus point. And I just want you to repeat after me. This human journey is intense at times. This human journey is overwhelming at times. This human journey is magnificent at times. This human journey is joyful at times. This human journey is available for me to thrive in. I chose to come to this experience with all the pain, all the stress, all the shadow. I also chose to come to this experience with all the joy, all the love, all the transformation, all the light. I give myself grace. I give others grace. I allow myself to move through transitions. I honor myself. I honor others. I honor nature. I honor this universe. And I honor the divine connection within me. I know I am on an unfolding journey. I am here to discover my brightest light. I love myself. I love this experience. I love the community and collective around me. Beautiful. And just come back down. Close your eyes if they're not closed already. Take in a nice deep breath. And just soften down. And just let yourself feel. Notice any sensations in your body. Notice if your shoulders have become a little bit more relaxed. Feel your energy. Notice if it's shifted at all. And just let yourself marinate where you're at right now. Gorgeous. Yes. How do you feel? I would love to know in the comments below. Let me know if that tapping practice and intention created any kind of shifts, significant or small, anything, any change in your energy. I would love to hear about it. And I am going to do a quick card pull. I pulled out my Earth Spirit cards. I always pull these cards out when it feels like we're in a flow period. And it's really about tapping in to the divine, to the connection, to the co-creation, for the inspired and aligned action, for the messages and guidance that comes through in all of the experiences around us throughout our day. So let's see what they have to say. I feel like I haven't pulled these cards out in a while because we've been in such density and such intensity. And that's when I use my more direct cards. So the first card is Inner Healer. And, I really got that as we were doing that tapping exercise. I was feeling into the collective and how when we get so present in those practices like that, we find that reminder of how every single one of us came with innate healing potential. We came to be great healers in all kinds of different ways, right? We're all so very unique. Every one of our cosmic imprints is exactly unique to us. And yeah, it's just more of our potential continues to come out as we transform the density, the intergenerational trauma, the core wounds, the lifetimes of what we've been, moving through and experiencing to get to where we are now, to get to where we're going, which is levitation. Y'all know, if you know me, you know that I know we're going to be mass levitating sooner than we think with our linear minds. And I'm just kind of feeling into this card, and I'm feeling into the roots of the earth, and, moving forward to 2023, especially as Saturn goes into Pisces, we really are going to be creating form, physicality and form to what we know as divinity, what we know as spirit, great spirit of soul, of our higher consciousness. We don't have to go up to find it. It's going to be here in us, in each of us, if we allow, with our free will, right? If we intend and take ourselves to that place. And so we're just the mass awakening is going to continue going into these beautiful states of light, of love frequency, of abundance. I cannot wait to be in this intergalactic system of abundance where we move even through our money system or our capitalist system through a full mindset of abundance. It's all about the way that we believe, that will affect and direct the constructs that we have made up. And we are absolutely dismantling those limiting beliefs and systems that have been created deeply. So the next card is womb. Yes, which is interesting because I'm about to head to my Awaken Your Fire Mexico retreat. And it's really, there's so much of womb and creation. And I've been talking to somebody recently about the term womb and how we have skewed that term by associating it just so deeply with literal childbirth. And I think that has disconnected us from our creation energy and potential when we only move that energy of the womb space to those people or humans that procreate, that birth other humans in this collective. But the womb energy is like, it's the earth energy, right? It's the creation energy. The divine connection comes down, and this is where we create in this land, on this beautiful, gorgeous in like space and environment that we get to inhabit, that we chose to come and experience in so many ways. And so I just want you to tap in. And how does womb resonate with you? Do you feel a resistance to feeling into your womb energy, even if there's no physical womb there? Because that is our pelvic bowl, is where creation starts, where we find, all of that inspiration. And it's every human has come from a womb. So we all have that in common. And that's really just the birth of your creations, the birth of your life. And what does that mean to you? It's almost like getting this energy of like the suppleness of it. Is there a supple energy to that? Or does it feel rigid? Let yourself like drop into that and feel. And the last card is drought. This is actually one of my favorite cards because in drought, you're not seeing or finding what you are searching for on the surface. You're not finding it in your immediate environment. which is where that drought comes from. And in this card, like I'm feeling into it today too. And I'm feeling into even the air element that's coming through and the fire element, the light element with all those solar flares that we're integrating, lots of X-class solar flares. We're talking about solar storms coming soon. But this is about searching through your senses. This is what it always comes back to for me, because we have been trained to look through our mind and just what's in front of us, or even just our vision and just our words. And so this is asking you to open up your full sensory navigation system, to open up your heart as your navigation system, right? The more that we drop out of the mind, the fear mind, the control mind, and into the heart guidance, that's where we're going to find the nutrients, water, the life that we were meant to be here to create, to live in, live from, and share with the collective. So look under the surface, look in those shadow places that you have been tasked with for transformation in these last few months. And you're going to continue to get inspiration. Follow the thread. Even when you share what's going down for you in an experience, and you might not be getting the response that you're hoping for, like a space of support or validation, that's a message, right? It's a message that it can be a message of many things, but it's a message that you're not getting the response. You already know the answer. You're just still looking for it outside of you. You're looking for the validation. And so let yourself sit with that, right? Even with your reaction to sharing something so intimate and raw and tender with another, and what comes back and how you feel about that, and how that brings you back into what you need is within yourself, where you can find it within yourself. I feel like that is a really, really great practice right now. Yeah, that feels complete. I hope that these messages have been super supportive for you. This was a surprise video for the All Planets Direct Energy that we're moving into all the way until April 21st. April 21st is when Mercury stations retrograde in Taurus. And then we have another Mercury retrograde in Virgo. And then the last Mercury retrograde of the year is in Capricorn again. All Earth signs. And that tells me that in these retrogrades, we're continuing to, all the review, reassess, rework, rebirth. But this is telling me we're continuing to restructure, right? The Earth is like the grounding, the foundation. So we're continuing to excavate our foundations and liberate ourselves from how they have been created. And we're building them from our sovereignty, from our alignment, from our light. So thank you so much for joining me today. I am just really excited to feel the unfolding go down and what really does come through, what grows in those spaces of full, inspired action. So until next time, y'all, make sure to hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, share this video if you felt support, and definitely comment below. I would love to hear the energies that you are really dropping into through this very, very big time on the planet. Sending peace and love. And remember, until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.